Hi, my name is Rachel Hardy. I don't know why you'd be watching this video if you didn't know who I was, but hey, maybe. And if that's you, welcome. I am making this video because I'm celebrating being on this platform making videos for 10 whole years, which is absolutely crazy, and I honestly can't believe it. I've spent most of the last 10 years singing and staring longingly into the distance, as we all know, so all the things I've been wanting to say to you have been piling up for 10 years. So grab a glass of wine because it's about to get cheesy. Wine and cheese? Okay, you know what? That's stupid. This is why I don't talk on video. I just wanted to talk a bit about kind of where I started and why I started and how this channel grew over the years, how we ended up where we are now, and I also just have a lot of things that I want to say to you guys, my audience. So if you don't care about all the past stuff and you just want to get to the cheesy bits, go to this time, I guess, somewhere. I'll put it somewhere around here. Go there, because that's the important stuff. So, the year was 2013, the year of the Harlem Shake, Gangnam Style, Vines, and the best iPhone to ever be released. I had just turned 15, and my parents decided to give me, for my birthday, a microphone and a music notation software called Sibelius. I remember I was so excited because I realized this was all I needed to really start creating music of my own. At the time, I really loved to sing. I was obsessed with film soundtracks, and I was just really looking forward to experimenting with music myself. Sharing music publicly never really crossed my mind at the time. I just really wanted to create for myself, learn and experiment. One of the first pieces that I ever wrote was called Arrival of the Galleon, and it was absolute garbage. At the time, I thought it was pretty good, but oh man, I'm gonna play you some actually. Hold on. Anyway, fast forward a few months, and I had this huge audition that I had been preparing for the entire year. It was for my high school's vocal jazz ensemble, and at the time, this was all I ever wanted. This was like my biggest dream in life. I just wanted to get into this vocal jazz ensemble. It was a huge deal to me. The song that I initially planned on going into the audition with was called Orange Colored Sky. But last minute, I decided to change my song pick to Blue Eyes, and so I did that. And then at the end of the week, the roster came out, and I got my first taste of failure in music, I guess, because my name was not on the list, which really sucked. When I got home, I was super upset. I remember really having a moment of like, maybe I'm not supposed to sing. I wasn't sure if I was even any good at it. You know how like sometimes people don't tell other people when they're bad at something because they don't want to like crush their dreams or whatever? I started wondering if that was me. Like maybe I'm just not good at this. Maybe this is not my thing. Maybe I should focus my energy elsewhere. This could have been my villain origin story. I could have taken up like illegal activities instead, like jaywalking. Anyway, after sulking for an hour, I decided I was gonna keep working for it because this was something I enjoyed doing, and also I'm an extremely stubborn person, and when people tell me I can't do something, it just makes me want to do it more. So that same day, I remember I went out to the garage and I started practicing, and I told myself I was gonna practice for 1 hour every day until next year's auditions, and I did do that. Every day for an hour. Even in the winter, which in Calgary is very cold. Very cold. We had a heater in the garage, thankfully. Have to turn it on like 40 minutes before I started practicing for it to heat up. I'm getting a little ahead of myself though, so let me backtrack a little bit. The summer of the year that I failed the audition, my brother had taught me how to use Ableton. And so I started recording my own little covers on Ableton with little backtracks that I found on YouTube. October rolled around and I had a day off of school for Canadian Thanksgiving, and being the lazy teenager that I was, I didn't want to help with all the food prep. So I hid in the basement and I decided to record a cover instead. And that cover was Let Her Go by Passenger.
Well, you only need the light when it's burning low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go.
I remember at the time I was like, I felt pretty good about it, and so I wanted to share it on Facebook. It seemed like the easiest way to do that was to put it on YouTube first and then embed the link onto Facebook. So I did that. I posted it on YouTube on October 19th, 2013. Of course, no one watched it when it came out except like 3 of my friends, but I had a lot of fun making it, so every once in a while I would just make another one. The third video I posted was in December of that year, and it was a cover of I See Fire from The Hobbit. I was a huge Hobbit fan at the time. I'm still a huge Lord of the Rings fan. I don't know if I'd still say I'm a Hobbit fan, but that's okay. It's a great song. So I posted a cover of that, and that was the first song on my channel to do well and start being watched by complete strangers. I'll never forget me and my voice teacher watching the numbers go up, and when it hit 20,000 views, we just couldn't believe it. Like, that was such a mind-boggling number. And great news, I got into vocal jazz when I auditioned that year. I decided to go into the audition that time with Orange Colored Sky, which evidently was a good choice because I got in. When I was in grade 12 in my senior year, I conquered a fear of mine and sang a solo in front of a bunch of people at our annual jazz event. And the song that I sang was Orange Colored Sky. It just felt like a full circle moment for me, I guess. That song still really represents perseverance for me. It holds a very special place in my heart. And to anyone who's curious, that video of that performance is up on my channel. I'm evidently extremely nervous. You can definitely tell. I choke up a few times. It's not the best performance, but you know what? It's still an important moment for me. Performing is something that terrifies me. And this is one of the reasons why YouTube works really well for me. Singing in my room by myself is not so bad. The camera's a little bit intimidating, but it's not as scary as a whole audience of real life people. In my early days on YouTube, I pretty much just posted whatever I felt like posting. It was a lot of pop covers, just songs that I personally liked and wanted to sing. And then I threw like the occasional composition in the mix. It was very all over the place. In 2014, my brother and I really hustled to put together a cover of The Last Goodbye from the third Hobbit movie. I think they had just announced the song and put it out, and so we made a cover in a matter of days. That was the first video on my channel to kind of blow up a little bit. I remember within a matter of days after we posted it, there was one day it got like 3,000 views in one day, and then the next day it got 6,000 views, and then 10,000 views. I gained a small following from that event, and I think that was kind of the definitive moment that I was like, maybe I should keep making videos. Like, people seem to be watching this, there might be something here. The view count flattened out shortly after that video had its moment, stayed pretty flat, stayed pretty consistent for a whole 6 years until 2020, and then I released a cover of Toss a Coin to Your Witcher. We all know what happened there. Listen, I had no idea that that song was going to blow up like it did. I really slapped that cover together quickly because I didn't know it was going to be popular, and then it went nuts. And if I had known that, I would have put in so much more effort into that cover. So much more. So much. But even though I regret not spending more time on that cover, I'm still happy it happened. I mean, it brought so many of you awesome people to my channel. And that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad you guys are here. I know that was a really vague kind of overview of the growth of my channel, but I did want to take a moment to just highlight some of the amazing collaborators that I've had the pleasure of working with over the years. A lot of you guys know that my favorite thing about being a creator on YouTube is getting to collaborate and work with other artists. I think that has been honestly the greatest joy of being on this platform. So I think the first one is my 2 21 Pilots collabs. Those are a huge favorite of mine. They're a ton of work to pull off, and I don't know if I'll do it again. I say that every time, but it's always so fun to find new artists to work with and remake something awesome. I have 2 of these out, and I also have a behind the scenes video for anyone interested.
Keep sidewalk under your feet.
The Warframe cover, oh my goodness, one of my favorite songs of all time, and getting to work on this with some of my friends was just a great time.
And we all lift, and we're all adrift together.
Sort of in connection to that, all of the collabs I've done with Colin McGuinness. He's such a fun pal to work with. We work together really well, and they've all turned out really awesome. Hopefully many more to come.
Alive.
Also, sort of in connection to the Warframe cover, is the cover of May It Be that I did with Jared Halley for his channel. I love that cover, and in my opinion, it's so much better than the solo version of that song on my channel, so I would go check it out if I were you. Our Witcher 3 Lullaby of Woe cover, which was actually orchestrated and organized by my friend Mark Choi. Just a really fun time working with people I'd never worked with before to create something really awesome. Into the West is one of my most requested songs on the channel, and for those of you who don't know, I did a cover of this song with the amazing Melinda. It was incredible working with her, especially because I've looked up to her over the years. She has an incredible voice. Even when I started my channel, I remember thinking, I would love to sing like Melinda, so working with her was awesome. Getting to do the bridge song with my fellow Canadian Samuel Kim was pretty awesome. I love the entire Arcane soundtrack, so I think of all the songs we could have covered, it was a pretty neat pick.
I ask of you a penny, my fortune it will be.
Getting to work with JT Music when my channel was still pretty small was a bit of a surprise because they were already a huge channel at that time. They were awesome to work with. I think Born of the Lion turned out amazingly. I remember I had to record this at 11:30 at night in my hotel room because I was traveling at the time, and I'm surprised I didn't get any noise complaints.
You were born of the lion, and you were destined for more.
Last year, I got to sing a very small part of the chorus for a song called I Was Born for This by Austin Wintory from the game Journey. And he had put together a 10-year anniversary reworking of the Journey soundtrack called the Traveler Symphony. Even though I had such a small part in this, it was a huge deal to me because the Journey soundtrack was probably the first video game soundtrack that I ever became obsessed with, like properly obsessed with. So really awesome to be part of that. And if you go watch the video, I think you'll see some familiar faces. Mattia Capelli has been a repeat collaborator since the very early days of my channel. His channel is amazing. Other people I've worked with were absolutely incredible. I could go on and on about how amazing all of these artists are, but please go see for yourself. I have a playlist on my channel. It's on my main page. It's called Collaborations, and it includes all of the collaborations I mentioned and more. When I started this channel, I had no expectations for it to go anywhere, and I honestly never could have imagined any of this. It's crazy to look back on all the songs that I've done, all the people that I've met and have gotten to work with, and just all the things that I've learned along the way. And it's all thanks to you guys, every single one of you. By watching my videos over the years, you have given me the space to learn new skills and grow as an artist, to start my career in music, which has been an absolute dream. And this is a gift that I don't think that I'll ever be able to repay, but I hope you know that I will always put my heart and soul into my covers, and I hope you will continue to enjoy them for years to come. It sounds weird to say, but my YouTube channel has also opened a lot of doors for me as a vocalist and composer outside of YouTube. And again, that is all thanks to you guys. Whether you've been here since day one or if this is the first video you're watching, you've contributed to that. And I appreciate you so much. I want to say thank you to a few more people as well. First, the artists and composers who wrote the songs that I cover. Thank you so much for letting me learn from your incredible work and for letting me share my love of your work with my audience. I started doing covers because I just wanted to learn from the songs that I love the most. So it's been an absolute pleasure to pass that on to my audience. I hope I didn't butcher any of your pieces. If I did, I'm sorry. Second, I wanted to say a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters from over the years. Making covers is an enormous amount of work, and because of copyrights and the ad rates in this niche, it's not really the most revenue generating thing I could be doing on YouTube, and so my Patreon supporters have really kept this show running over the years, truly. It's been amazing connecting with so many of you in our Patreon hangouts every month, and I'm so lucky to have just such a supportive, encouraging community around me. I'm going to list all of the names of my patrons from over the last 10 years, every single one, even if they just signed up for like 1 minute at some point in time. I'm gonna list all of their names here. Thank you for making 10 years of videos possible. I could not have done it without you. Thank you. And if you're interested in joining that community, I will put the links for that and everything in the description. Super easy to sign up, and it's $1. $1. Okay, I think that's all of the cheese I wanted to throw at you today. Talking is hard, and I am tired, so I'm going to stop talking and go back to singing, because people probably like that more. Just thank you all so much. I am so grateful for the last 10 years on this platform. I'm so grateful for where I am today, where this path has led, and I can't wait for what the future holds. So I'll see you in the future. I'll see you in another 10 years. Let's go. I don't know how to end videos.